Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Green, and this is another in my series of lessons from pre-cal. And what we're going to be taking up today is a topic that deals with changing of unit of measures. Okay? Remember, things will be due in 28 days, and after that 28th day, they start getting zeros that are locked in permanent. So you want to make certain you get things done before that time frame. Okay? So let's not be late on things. Make certain you get them done. Don't want to get any zeros out there. Okay? Okay, so what are we talking about? Well, when we talk about things that are measured in degrees, like we are talking about right angles and the degree of measures and the sine of angles and things like that, well, not everything is a whole number. Well, you could express a degree as a decimal number, but one of the more common ways of doing them is in degrees, minutes, and seconds. That's just a way of dividing it up and giving it into some unit of measure. So you got degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, a minute is 1/60th of a degree, and a second is 1/60th of a minute. I mean, you probably knew that already. So how do we find the degree, the minute, and the second? Well, you divide. Dividing the degrees makes the minutes. Dividing the minutes makes seconds. So 1/60th of a degree is 1 minute. 1/60th of a minute is a second. So how do we find them? Let's do a little bit of practice here. So if we've got a measurement that's 42.42, the 0.42 is a partial degree. So what you do is you take that 0.42 times 60, because there's 60 minutes in a degree, and when you multiply these two things together, you will get the number of minutes that would be a in that 0.42 parts of a degree. So I'm going to clear my calculator here, put in 0.42 times 60, and what do we wind up with? 60, enter, and we wind up with 25.2. 25.2. Well, once again, partial number here. That 0.2, I can multiply times 60 again, and that will tell me the number of seconds. That's going to wind up being 12 seconds. 60 times 2 is 12. Okay? So what did we wind up with? We wound up with 40 minutes, or 40 degrees, 25 minutes, and 12 seconds. That's the way it would be expressed in degrees, minutes, and seconds. 25 minutes, 12 couldn't multiply. 12 seconds, 12 seconds, 12 seconds. Not 0.5, it's 0.2. So it's 12 seconds. Okay? And I'm sure you've seen this when we're doing location type things where we're measuring the number of degrees off of on the Earth's axis. One of the things they measure the Earth's axis in is in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So that's the way this is being expressed to you here. Okay. Another unit of measure that we have is, I'm sorry, they want to go the other way. If we have something like this and we want to express it as the number of degrees it is, we simply have to multiply the 45 times 60, or divide it by 60, I'm sorry, and take the 13 and divide it by 3,600. Why 3,600? Well, that's 60 squared, 60 times 60. And add those three things up. When we do that, we get 132.736111. Now, which way is easier, this way or that way? You know what? It's just a matter of you need to know how to do it. I think I've seen it expressed both ways when I'm looking at things, so it won't make a whole lot of difference one way or the other, but you just need to be aware that it could be expressed both ways. Okay? So, let's look at a different unit of measure. This one is called a radian. A radian is a type of measurement that is very similar to a degree, okay? As a matter of fact, it's actually more common than degrees because it's used in calculus and a whole lot of other things. The conversion factor, and the lesson goes into a lot of detail on it. The conversion factor to degrees is simply multiply by 180 and divide by pi. Okay? From radians to degrees. If you're going to go from degrees to radians, it's pi times 180. That's how simple it is. Now, your calculator here, this type of calculator, you need to know how to put this into the mode to deal with radians. If you push mode, this button right here, one of the options right here says degree or radians. Now, in geometry, we told you to make certain it said degree. Now that you're in pre-cal, we're going to talk about radians, and in calculus, you would talk about radians a lot. So you simply go down there to that point right there and move it over to degree and press enter, and it'll give it to you in degree. You move it over to radians and press enter, and it'll give it to you in radians. That's how easy it is to make that swap, okay? Is to make that simple change. But let's do a couple of conversions on our own. If we wanted to convert 270 degrees to radians, we would simply multiply it times pi over 180. And this turns out to be 3 over 2 pi. Now, radians are usually expressed in terms of pi. Don't put 3.14 in there and multiply it out. Leave it just like this. Leave it in this expression right here. You would say 3 over 2 pi radians. And that's the way you would leave it. You don't have to make any other changes on it other than that. Okay? So, having said that, let's convert one from radians to degrees. So if we got 3 over 8 pi radians, and we want to convert that to degrees, we multiply it times 180 divided by pi. The pi's will cancel out. 180 times 3 divided by 8 is 67.5 degrees, or 67 degrees and 30 minutes. Okay? Either way you would like to express that, that would work for me. So, what do you need to know from that lesson? You need to understand converting from degrees, partial degrees, to degrees, minutes, and seconds. You need to know how to take degrees and convert them into radians, and radians into degrees. Those are the things you're going to be dealing with the most. So, enjoy the lesson. Make certain you work some of the problems. Come to Class Connect if you have any questions, or come to tutoring if you have questions that I can't answer other than that. I'm looking forward to seeing you later on. Bye.